Guys, tonight's story isn't just about the left versus right. It's about Tim Walz and the Minnesota fraud. It's about something far more dangerous. What happens when the power operates without the verification, documentation, or the fear of consequences? Because a Minnesota auditor report just detonated like a political earthquake. And the aftershocks are now forcing a national reckoning. According to the auditor report, Minnesota's Department of Human Services under Governor Tim Walz didn't just make the mistakes, they allegedly fabricated the records. Yes, they failed to verify who received the millions in grant money and then also tried to cover their tracks when the scrutiny arrived. That's not just a talking point, that's what the audit itself describes. Auditors say managers backdated documents and created new paperwork after the fact, not to improve the systems but to explain decisions that had already gone wrong. And here is where this stops being abstract. One grant, according to the report, received $672,000 for 1 month of work, and auditors could not even determine what that organization actually did. No clear services, no clear deliverables, just money out the door. Even more alarming, the grant manager who approved that payment reportedly left the department days later and then became a paid consultant for the same company. Again, that's not a conclusion, it's what auditors documented. When public money moves that fast with little oversight, fraud doesn't just become impossible, it becomes predictable. And that's why this story just got 10,000 times worse, because it's not about one bad grant or one rogue employee. It's about a system that illegally allowed the paperwork to be invented after money was already gone. So, guys, that's not just the governance, that's a damage control. Now, here is the pivot everyone needs to understand. This isn't ending in Minnesota, because as Tim Walz exits the 2026 race amid these mounting allegations, Washington is threatening and treating this is not as a closed chapter but as a roadmap. Kaylee Loafer made that crystal clear. When asked about Walls dropping out, she didn't hedge. She said he had nowhere left to go and must be accountable for what was allowed to foster under his oversight. Her point wasn't partition, it was structural. And when oversight disappears, taxpayers lose twice. First, their money is wasted, and secondly, the people who actually need the benefits get denied because the resources are already scarce and diverted to the bad actors. Loifer revealed that investigators have already identified roughly $400 million connected to suspicious activity and placed about 7,000 Minnesotans on a do not loan, do not pay list through the SBA. That's not symbolism, that's enforcement. And here is the most important line she said that most headlines missed. This doesn't diminish the investigation, it expands it. Minnesota isn't the end, it's the beginning. So, what this audit did was expose a repeatable pattern: money moving faster than verification, paperwork following payments instead of preceding them, and oversight treated as a optional rather than mandatory. That pattern doesn't belong to one state or one administration, guys. It's everywhere federal dollars flow without the real time accountability. And that's why this movement matters. Not because of one governor's political future, but because this case shows how fraud actually happens in modern government. Not with sky mask and duffel bags, but with missing documents, rubber stamps, revolving doors, and silence. So, if the allegations in this audit hold, the resignation isn't about the optics, it's about restoring the trust. Because when records are illegally fabricated and grants are issued without any verification, the system itself becomes a compliance. And that's the real scandal here. This is no longer about whether Tim Walz stays or goes, it's about whether taxpayers finally get a government that verifies before it pays, documents before it distributes, and audit before it's apologizes. Because once money is gone, paperwork can't bring it back, and now the rest of country is just watching. So guys, thank you so much for joining in today. This was the main story today, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of Tim Walz exiting the 2026 race? And thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, kindly give it a breakdown, and if you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe. Thank you.